A live look at the North Carolina coastline where the leading edges of Florence are just beginning to arrive, and things are going to get a whole lot worse over the next 24 hours. Florence was downgraded to a Category 2 hurricane overnight, but the storm's impact will still be catastrophic. More than 1.5 million people are under evacuation orders this morning. Good morning. It is Thursday, September 13th. I'm Michelle Griego.
And I'm Emily Turner in for Kenny this morning. Let's head live to Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. Mola Lenghi shows us how the region is preparing for a direct hit from Hurricane Florence. Mola.
Well, good morning, Michelle and Emily. As you can tell, obviously not hurricane or even tropical storm conditions at this point, but we have noticed in the last few hours conditions starting to turn, wind gusts starting to pick up. Still pretty mild, but in less than 24 hours, we are expecting things to be in full swing as Hurricane Florence is expected to slam into the Carolina coast.
Towns up and down the Carolina coast are almost completely deserted. Officials are warning the few who stayed behind of the dangers ahead.
You put your life at risk by staying. Don't plan to leave once the winds and rain start.
Forecasters predict the storm surge from Hurricane Florence could top 13 feet, enough to send water half a mile inland. Firefighters in Raleigh, North Carolina are going door to door, warning people who live in flood zones.
If the wind's high enough, we're going to have our employees hunkered down safely. We're not going to have them out on the road. It's not safe for them to be out there.
Today is the last chance residents have to get out of harm's way. Officials say when the storm is at its worst, first responders may not be able to get to everyone in trouble.
That's Myrtle, and I mean, we're right there, so we're going to get, I don't know if you just heard what he said, but he said catastrophic damage to life and property.
Patrick Dunphy and Connor Zaya heeded the warnings. They left their South Carolina college and drove home to Massachusetts.
If that thing hits Myrtle, it wouldn't even be like we're worried about getting back to school. It's going to be like, what are we going to get back to? Meteorologists
say the storm's uncertain path has widened the threat to include parts of Georgia. It's also possible Florence hovers along the coastline, increasing the deadly storm surge.
Well, power companies throughout the Carolinas expect millions of people to be without power in the aftermath of the storm. Some could be without power even for a matter of weeks. And Michelle, Emily?
Mola, now that the storm has weakened some, how bad is it really expected to get out there?
And is there anything in particular that emergency officials are most concerned about?
Well, the fear is that it could strengthen again. You know, as it starts getting closer, it starts going over some of those warmer waters. That warm water could fuel it, and it could very well strengthen again. But, you know, in terms of the Category 2 downgrade, that just addresses the wind. There is still a concern about storm surge. You know, in this area, we're looking at anywhere from 9 to 12 feet they're anticipating. So there's the heavy rain. You know, once the storm sort of hits the mainland, it's expected to kind of meander and linger over the coast for a little while and move really slow. So the rainfall is also another concern. And then you've got concerns of flooding and flash flooding. So beyond the wind, there is a lot of concern in terms of the water damage that could come with Florence.
Mola, thank you. Mola Lenghi joining us this morning from Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. Thank you.
And the outer bands of Florence are now approaching the Carolina coast. We're going to check in with Mary for more on the storm's path.
That's right, Michelle. Yeah, we're tracking Hurricane Florence. This is going to be a powerful storm. So even though it has been downgraded to a Category 2 storm, make no doubt about it, it does still look like a dangerous storm surge and life-threatening flash flooding with this storm. This is a live look at Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. You can see conditions deteriorating out there. The outer rain bands and tropical storm force winds have reached the Carolina coast there. So that live cam showing the wet conditions and windy as well. Satellite view of Hurricane Florence, a Cat 2 hurricane packing maximum sustained winds of about 110 miles per hour, and it is 170 miles east-southeast of Wilmington, North Carolina, likely making landfall as a Category 2 hurricane by late tonight into early tomorrow, and then still by Friday afternoon a Category 1 storm, and then on Saturday a tropical storm. So it's going to be a slow mover. Usually when it moves over land, it doesn't have that energy to fuel those storms, but still, you can see it's a hurricane even as it moves over land. So that's the problem there. It could dump a lot of rain. We're talking 20 to 30 inches of rain and isolated 40-inch rainfall totals over the Carolina coast. Michelle?
All right, Mary, thanks for that update.